Okay, so we're pretty much done doing all the major details of the back and all this stuff. What I'm going to do now is start to clean this up and wrap this thing up. So if I look at the back metal fold, there's actually like these gaps and holes in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to address that now and fix it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the metal fold part and I'm going to also select this back panel area. And with that selected, I'm going to go over here to isolate selection, just so I'm only working with this area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this metal fold and I'm going to grab all of the border edges, which is going to be this part. Alt middle mouse button, click another border edge there, and you should have all these border edges selected. I also need to select this border edge here from that little hole. Should have a little hole right there. Alright, so with all those borders selected right there, it's actually pretty simple. I'm just going to hit Control D to extrude, and let me see, there's my manipulator right there. So let me just position this better, something like this. I'm going to pull that in until it goes into that panel, like that. Okay. Once it does that, you'll seal up that hole, and it'll look more like the way that that metal fold is supposed to look, without really any gaps right there. Okay. So this is what you should end up with, and it looks pretty good. Looking at it from all angles, just trying to make sure everything is top notch and ready to go, and it looks like it is. Let me take all that stuff and freeze modeling. So let me unisolate the selection. I'm going to scan this real quick to see if there's any type of gaps like that I need to seal up. Now obviously I have holes here with these vents and things, but those holes I created on purpose. They're supposed to be there. So those are perfectly fine. Alright, so I'm going to go to my Explorer view here, and I have a lot of stuff here. Okay. What I'm going to do to start organizing some of this, because I have stuff called, Polymesh 1 and 2 and all this stuff. So let me go ahead and rename some of this stuff quickly. I'm going to take, for example, this part here should probably be called rear panel. So I'm just going to call that entire part rear panel. What else do we have here? Polymesh 2. That should be maybe rear lower vent. Then we've got this object here and this object here. And you know what? I'm not even going to worry about renaming those things right there. Not really important. I'm going to leave those alone. Most of my stuff here is named anyway, so I already know what that stuff is. So this other stuff is hidden, so I'm going to unhide it. That's the important part. I'm going to unhide this right body. So basically I have these two halves, which are, at the moment, they're separate. And I probably don't want them to be separate anymore. I probably want to unite them and make them one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select the left and the right body. Alt and right click. Go to merge. Now it's going to have a tolerance parameter. I am going to use a tolerance, a very small amount of tolerance, to get rid of that blue edge in the middle so it becomes white on the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to hit delete to get rid of the original object. I'm going to take everything and freeze modeling on it just to keep it nice and clean. I'm going to take this object now. I don't think that I need that cut in the middle anymore. I think I can go ahead and probably get rid of that. So I'm going to take that edge there, and all these edges down here in the bottom. And one good thing would probably be to isolate the selection. Okay, there we go. There, I can see a lot better now. I'm going to delete those edges that I don't need. There we go. Perfect. Freeze modeling on that. Keep it nice and clean. I'm going to create a polygon on the front over here. I'm going to use the Add Polygon tool, which is again N on the keyboard. I'm going to create a polygon there basically to fill this hole. Now in the back over here, I'm not going to create a polygon to fill the hole because we have that entire back section which is going to fill the hole for us. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and unisolate the selection, and we have all this stuff. So at this point, you could keep these objects separate or you can weld them together. It's really up to you. I'm going to go ahead and take this part here, the body, and the metal fold area in the back, just those areas. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge those. I want to make that one object. I'm going to take my tolerance down, and I'm going to increase it just a little bit until I get rid of the blue edges. Perfect. I'm going to hit delete to get rid of the original object there and just have this new merged object. Perfect. So now what I can do is I can bevel some of this stuff. For example, I can take all of these edges and all of those edges, basically the top ones there. Here you can see the edges I have selected. And I'm going to bevel these just to make this look nice and clean. And I could also bevel the ones in the bottom. So let's actually go ahead and do that. Let's bevel these edges that are on the bottom right there. Okay, it looks pretty good. And let me go to bevel, bevel components. Obviously that amount of bevel is way too much. I want to do a slight subtle bevel, not something that's exaggerated or looks horrible. So let me give this some rounding, maybe a couple of subdivisions, not too many, maybe 3 or 4, something like that. And actually that amount of bevel looks pretty good. It's nice and soft, very subtle, which is exactly what I want. Maybe I'll add another subdivision to that, a 4th, just to make it look real nice and clean. Okay. Alright. So we end up with this. Now what you could do is on your own, just go ahead, explore different areas and see what kind of more detail you want to add to it, if any. See if you want to bevel any other areas. But the point is that I'm pretty sure I've conveyed lots of techniques for you here and taught you lots of different things here with polygon modeling and Softimage. And the important thing is to basically learn techniques and understand what they do and when you can use them. That way you can model more efficiently and productively when you're working. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. I'm just going to go ahead and end this here and see if there's any last bit of cleaning up that I have to do in the last video.